Hey guys, welcome to Cooper TV. We're going to go through our Mindstorms 60 card deck, the 60 cards I'm currently using. I really enjoy this deck, it's very interesting. There'll probably be a few cards that could be changed in and out, but without further ado, let's go into it. I do run all four of the Terraformic Expanse, if that's how you pronounce it. I do find this deck very mana screwy. And I was running 3 and I'm still getting mana blocked, and I'm to this day, I mean, it's one of those decks that it's slow to start off with, but then turn 5-6 you can really get a lot of mana, but it's those crucial turns early on, so that's why I'm running all 4 of them. I run 2 of the mana leaks. Later on it becomes less useful because they can pay 3. I used to think it was only pay 1, but it's actually pay 3, so I run 2 of them because it can be handy. Moving on to our first 2/2s, a Razorfin Hunter. This is kind of how I like this deck. It's not really swinging in damage, it's basically staying back, so you can hold back, ping creatures if they come on the battlefield if they're 1/1s, or you can just ping his face. Moving on, Reverberate, I think that's how Reverberate. Not sure how you pronounce that, but it's quite cool. Copy a target instant or sorcery. You can choose new targets for the copy, so it's just a nice wee tricky card. Double doing Time Warp if you've got enough mana or some of your spells to finish off an opponent. It's kind of cool, and it's only 2 mountains, so it's a cool card. Volcanic Geyser, it's just a basically straight to the face or target creature, boost that with the power, so 3 mana would cost you 5 to cast it to do 3 damage, but I run all 3 of them. It's just ways of getting in that you don't need creatures to get in for damage. You're at, land 6 or 7, they're on a counter if you've got they're on a clock, sorry, if you've got a couple of them in your hand, because you can just use them to straight smash to their face. Active Treason, just a cool wee card just to take away an opponent's creature. It's not as useful as I'd like it. It can win you the game, but it can also just sit in your hand doing nothing sometimes. It's just the way it goes, but it's a handy card to have. That's kind of why I run it. Obviously 3 Arc Lightnings, 3 damage split amongst target creatures or opponents. Great card for 3 cost. One of the cards I'm not sure about, I've not really had much success using it, Breaking Point. It's a 3 cost, and the player can take 6 damage, or it will destroy all creatures and they cannot be regenerated. The problem I'm finding with this card, when you want it to do the 6 to the face, you'll have creatures in the battlefield, so they'll choose to destroy all creatures. If you want to destroy all creatures, they'll tend to have enough health to just basically go, no, I'll take 6 to the face and be in a great position. So it's a very awkward card. I've not quite had it be very successful yet. Moving on, Cerebral Vortex. You take 2 damage and you basically draw 2 cards. So it's kind of like Sign in Blood, but it's an instant, so it's kind of cool. Just get more cards out there. Electrolyze, great card, 3 cost, 2 damage defend amongst targets, but you also get to draw a card, so it's a cool 3 cost. Moving on, we've obviously got Electrode. It's another way to ping creatures, plus, casting spells, he comes untapped, and you can do 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 damage in 1 turn to a creature if you've got enough mana. I do run the Evoking Firemind cards, 2 of them. I like the option. I mean, it is quite expensive, so it's a 3 cost before it's doing anything. So, sorry, a 4 cost before it's actually doing anything. Then you're only going to get 1 out of it. But just to be able to choose sometimes between drawing cards and hitting somebody in the face, it can really change the tide of a game. Sorry. Moving on, Quicksilver Dagger. It's just one of those cards. I'm kind of running one of them, just kind of sort of play testing it. Drop it on a creature and you can tap them and do damage. So it's one of those 100 cards that you can maybe drop on your Steam Core Weird once it's basically on the battlefield. Anyway, the wee Dragonauts or the wee McNuggets, these are kind of cool. The more the sorcery cards and instants you cast, they boost up and they can get in for quite a lot of damage sometimes and just win you the game straight away. The Steam Core Weird is basically cast it with a mountain and it does 2 damage when it comes on. That's its main function. Once it's on the battlefield, it's basically a blocker because it's only got 1. But as I said, you can put the Quicksilver Daggers on it and make it a little bit more useful. As I say, we run the Wand of Elements. I like this card. I only run one of them, and I like this card because of the creature we'll get to later on, and I'll explain why. I have in a game, but I'll explain why in the deck guide. Beacon of Destruction, 5 damage to a player's face or creature, and he gets shuffled back into your hand. So we'll run the wand for this guy, Dominus of Fealty, and we like this card because if you're playing against mountains or islands, and you've got this guy out, you can steal one of their mountains or island and then just destroy it with your wand. So you get rid of a creature, basically mana on their side, plus you can put a 3/3 or a 2/2, and that can kind of come in useful sometimes. I have played a few games with it working, and I've played a few games with it not working, but I just like that kind of trickery combo just to really kind of sort of frustrate them if they're losing mana and you're just basically building up a nice wee wall on your side. So You don't generally get many out, 2 or 3, and then you're probably in a position where you're going to win the game. But it's just a nice wee combo that I'm trying out currently. Long term, we don't know if it'll last. Moving on, Prophetic Bolt. 4 damage, 5 cost, then you draw a card. It's another way just to smash someone in the face. I'm running currently 2 of them. I think there is 3 in the deck, so I'm not sure why I'm only running 2. I should possibly have 3 of them in there. We'll come back and look at that in a minute. Tidings, draw 4 cards, 5 cost with your islands. It's just basically to get more cards. Obviously both time warps, and then we run Leave It as well because he's the main boy. And he's kind of cool, 4/4 flyer, and you can draw a card, and he does damage every time you draw a card. So is there a full prophetic? I'm sure there is 3 prophetic bolts. Yeah, I'm not sure why we're not running one of them. Maybe I should maybe take out the Quicksilver daggers, to be honest with you. I think that's what we'll do. We'll get rid of the Quicksilver daggers. Stick another prophetic bolt. Oh, should have done it that way. Not that way. Bing. There we go, that's better. So we should be running the 3 prophetic bolts just because there are lots of damage. Cards we're not running. Mana Leak. Because this deck's not creature heavy, it's very sorcery instant heavy. This card is less useful. It has done me good for blocking and trading sometimes, especially with the wee McNuggets, because they also get the +2 bonus that they get from casting instant, so it's kind of cool, but it's less useful sometimes when you're holding on to a hand with a lot of spells and no creatures. Told you we run one of these guys. I don't see the point in running Breaking Point any more than one of them. It's one of the cards I could still possibly take out. I'm just really not sure about it. It never works for me. Compulsive Research. It's basically they draw 2 cards unless you discard a land and throw it away. I don't run any of them. They're a good way of getting your cards up, and a lot of people will run them and be, oh, you should maybe run one of them. But with having Tidings, I think I just prefer having Tidings and they draw the 4 cards. You've got a lot of spells that will draw your cards that you're probably going to be casting anyway, so that's kind of why I don't run that. We've got rid of the Quicksilver daggers. This is a wee trickery card, +4, -4 attack to kill something possibly. Not an overly impressive card in my mind. Wee McNuggets, we run 3 of them, so we'll get rid of this. This guy's weird. The Jester Cap. Tap him for 2 and you can search the player's library for 3 cards and exile them, then the player shuffles their library. This is possibly quite cool because every turn you're just whittling down their library, but it's very slow, and if they've got anything in their hand that's pretty strong, it's less useful. So it's a 4 cost. I'm not sure about it. I mean, I've not really tested it, so it could come back in for test. Let me know, guys, if you've run it and how it works. Lightning Elemental, just a 4/1 creature with haste, so I don't run it. This card's really good, and I'd like to run it, but it's good against the burn deck because it just goes back to your hand, but there's too many tricks where it can become useful. It's only a 3/3 for 4, and it can be on the battlefield. You can be swinging in, and they can just ping it with an ability and put it back, and then it's 4 cost to get it back out onto the battlefield again, and then it's going to have obviously Summoning Sickness again. So I just decided to take all 3 of them out. I'm not a big fan of this card really, swapping creatures around with mana equal. Nah, I'm not sure how that would work against some decks. Maybe against Obedient Dead, because if they get obliterated out you're in trouble, so you can maybe just swap it and just take it, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, Steamco Weird, we've running 2 of them, we're running one of the ones. This guy's interesting as well. The Djinn of Wishes, or Djinn of Wishes, I don't know if the D is silent. You can basically remove counters and have a look at the cards in your top deck and not pay them. My deck's quite low on mana, 6 cost being the highest and then down to the 5, so I didn't think he was worth it. This guy's too expensive for me, 5 cost for what he does. He's only a 2/2. Okay, you can bring an instant back, but for 5 cost, you know. Spellbound Dragon, again, this is a kind of cool card. I'm just, in the way I currently run the deck, I just don't think it works because I don't have much with high mana, and the stuff I do, I'd rather be casting than giving this dude the boost of it in a sense. So that's why I don't run any of them. We don't run the Manticore Core just because we're getting at the high 6 ranges. He's kind of cool though. You take control of a creature for 1 turn. Bringing him on, you're generally swinging in for the win possibly. This is your Enhancement Destroyer as a creature, but it's a 6 cost. Okay, it's okay, but it costs quite a bit to destroy something. And if you're up against an opponent that hasn't used enhancements or artifacts, well, destroy target artifacts, sorry, then his ability is less useful and he's just going to be sitting as a 5/5 most of the time for 6. So we were running this guy, but he was less useful than I thought. I'm not running a lot of creatures, so the boost doesn't work, and as I said, I don't run much that's too expensive creature-wise, so that ability is less useful, so we don't run him. Don't run the Sphinx. I was going to run him for a while because of the Shroud, but we just took him out. Too expensive. I want this deck to be less creature and more spells, so that's the way I'm running it. Another cool kind of interesting creature, putting on counters. Thunder Dragon, killing creatures that basically don't have flying, while doing a lot of damage to them when it comes in. Then this card, Insurrection, 8 cost, and you can untap all creatures and gain control of them. So I suppose this could win you the game definitely at some point, but it's an 8 cost. And then Living Inferno we're not running. Tap him down and deal damage equally split up. So he's basically maybe killing 1 or 2 creatures if you want to keep him alive, or you can maybe just decimate a side and he'll die as well. But he's an 8 cost. I'd rather win the game by turn 8. So there you go, guys. There's the Mindstorms. As you see, it's very, very spell heavy. That's the way I'm kind of running. Lots of smashing in there and a few just key creatures just to help out. I enjoy running it this way. I don't know if it's the best way. There's probably, I could maybe drop some of these spells out here and there to make it slightly more stronger. But post your comments down below, guys. Let me know how it's working, and we'll probably get a couple of games up afterwards as well. Kuber TV, signing out.